Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can speed run through creating an AI interactive lead magnet to be able to increase the conversions on your top of funnel. This line of thinking can be easily applied to not only just lead magnets, but web apps, SaaS, you name it, doesn't matter. Here we go. The first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we validate demand. There's no point in creating anything that nobody wants. So the first thing that I did is I asked one of my clients, hey, I'm looking to build something out. And I gave him a bunch of different options. And he said a quiz to see how much weight you could lose sustainably in 30 days and a Kickstarter plan to help you achieve that. So that is what we're going to build. Hey, I'm looking to build an AI interactive lead magnet. This is the idea. My plan is to use Google Gemini to create the front end web app code. And then I'm going to transfer that code into Cursor, which is my IDE. What do you need from me to help you create this web app? All right, now we're going to go into Gemini. In terms of the framework on what you need from me out of a prompt, which I'm currently creating in ChatGPT, could you outline exactly what you need from me to make the web app creation as smooth as possible for you, as well as making sure that we incorporate everything that I want in there and all of the variables necessary. So create a prompt outline with variables that I need to insert so that I can work with my OpenAI ChatGPT to make sure we give you the exact necessary input variables. All right, so it gives me this prompt. Okay, I just talked with Gemini. This is the outline on how we need to insert the according variables to make sure that it fully creates my vision. So let's make sure that we adapt everything and brainstorm all of these ideas to make sure that it fits into this prompt. Let's see what it wants. Who is this for? This quiz app is going to be for skinny fat men who are between the ages of 28 to 40. They work corporate jobs. A Kickstarter plan is going to be a 7-day Kickstarter in terms of small steps that they can incorporate today to start generating momentum into getting into the best shape of their life and losing weight. The primary CTA at the end is I actually want it to be walled behind an email where they're going to have to input their email to not only we are going to tell them how much weight they can sustainably lose within the next 30 days and then say, hey, if you want the plan, the Kickstarter plan, put in your email. And then once they input their email, that's going to trigger the webhook for us to generate the plan and then send it over to them. We want the target fat loss range in 30 days. Yes, we want to go with option A. And so I think it's important to understand just asking demographic questions like how old they are, how much they actually weigh right now. And then we also want to say, how aggressive do you want to be with your fat loss? But then let's also give them some education on the front end where we say, hey, if you do choose to be more aggressive, you might lose a lot of weight fast, but this also increases the chances of rebounding. So there is a balance between aggressiveness and long-term sustainability, just so that you are aware. In terms of the inputs, have the first question be the body plus baseline quiz. The second one is activity. Third one is constraints that they can just input. Fourth question will be how sustainably you want to lose the weight and make sure we give them some education on the front end. Fifth question is going to be the biggest issue and incorporating that into their weight loss. So let's say they say, hey, I go out and drink with my friends on the weekend. Then we are going to incorporate that into our calculation by using logic and saying, hey, they're probably going to overeat on calories on the weekend, which is going to impact the amount of weight that they probably lose, even if they were to be consistent. So let's make sure we add that into our calculation as a caveat, but also educate them saying, hey, this is why it's not higher, because you put your biggest issue as alcohol on the weekends, which leads to potential overeating. I like the default rules that you chose. We can do just pounds only. Kickstarter plan is calories, macros, protein, steps, and a quick workout template. Yes, we're going to use Gemini to generate the written plan, tailor tips based on their constraints, potential meal ideas and schedule ideas. You can have it generate the entire plan. I'm curious to see what it looks like. So again, we are going to show how much weight they can sustainably lose and then say, hey, if you want the plan, put in your email. The submissions are going to go into an Airtable. So we're going to have it, once they input their email, that's going to then trigger a webhook. We're not going to use any database at first for storage, and we're going to use next.js. We're going to use JavaScript or Next, you choose. Do you need authentication? No, and this will be hosted on Netlify. Ideally, we want the quiz length to be 3-ish minutes. Okay, now I have to give it a reference. So let's just go to Framer. Let's go to Framer, health. Let's see, coaching. All right, I really like this. Let's just screenshot it. Put that in here. Looks clean. Say, hey, I included a screenshot of the design in terms of the coloring and how I like the headline and the call to action button right there. That's just how simple we want to make it. And then the call to action button is just going to be start the quiz. So that's how they want the front end to look. And then I want it to be all right, so we have everything. So let's read through what the AI gave me. Quiz inputs. The biggest thing that we want to make sure we have everything that we want dialed in before we even bring it to any type of coding. This is going to be the highest leverage in terms of the effort that we put in for the best results. Otherwise, you're going to be going back and forth with Gemini when that could have all been easily prevented with just putting in a little bit extra work on the front end. We don't need the waste estimate. We know that their goal direction is that they want to cut fat. So we can get rid of those two. All right, everything else is good. Please adjust the prompt as necessary. If we can blur the projection until they put in their email, that would be great. 30-day fat loss forecast works. All right, so we're gonna go back in Gemini and we're just gonna copy paste this prompt, submit. We need to go to Google AI Studio. Let's just put this in. And now we're gonna wait and it's gonna give us something. This is what we got as our initial one-shot prompt. No generic formulas, reality check targets, 7-day plan included. This for education, always consult a physician before starting a new issue. Wow, this looks really good. Precision physiology, 30-day fat loss forecast, stop guessing. Wow, this looks fantastic. Start the quiz. Ooh, I don't like how this is black. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change that. Hey, can you make sure when I started the quiz that the background color of some of the fill-in boxes, such as age, height, and current weight, they're black? Could you change them so that the background color is white? Imperial metric, that's good. 70 kg steps. Wow, this is beautiful. Cardio, mixed, sleep. How hard do you want to push? Sustainable, slow, easy, maintain the sweet spot for most working professionals. High effort, faster results. Higher rebound risk. Wow, this is great. More aggressive cuts in the short term. Can't say. Unlock your results. Also same with at the very end, unlock your results. The fill-in form button, background color is black. Can we make that white? Let's see where this takes us. Review my forecast. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, here we go. Nutrition targets, TDEE, 1,000 calories, lower protein risk. Your 7-day plan is inbound, check. Wow, this is beautiful. And this is amazing. Now we're just gonna make our changes. I don't even remember what I put on the front end, so we might need to change this. Oh, I put 195 kg. That's why that's like 400 pounds. Oops, that's why this is so high. Yeah, I didn't even look, but okay, this is great. Oh, based on 195 kg and aggressive activity. Yeah, that's 400 pounds. So let's see what it does once we make the edits. And this already looks fantastic. It looks super clean. I would take this quiz. So what we're gonna do next is we're going to change. Okay, here we go. We made our edits. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, this looks great. This looks great. Now all you have to do is say, hey, I'm going to transition all of my code into Cursor, which is my IDE. I then plan on deploying it into Netlify. Can you make sure that all of my code and my TSX files, my HTML files are copy pastable and ready to deploy in Cursor? All right, my Gemini is doing a lot of good work on the front end here. A lot of good stuff on the front end. Wow. Now all we have to do is wait for Gemini to do its thing, make sure that it updates all of the TSX, HTML, JSON files. Right now we just have a bunch of code right now with this, which is cool and all, but we need to make sure that people on the internet can actually access it so that we can generate leads, because we want more leads. Okay, now that I have all the code and files ready to go, can you walk me through step by step what I need to do in Cursor? All right, so what we're gonna do is C, create project folder. Let's call it 30-day fat loss forecasts. Okay, we created a new folder. We're gonna open folder 30-day fat loss forecast. Now Google says, open cursor, run. Yep, now we just need to do this, run that. As you can see, it tells us to do that. We should have done this. Let's make sure that includes that Lucid React Framework motion. Okay, great. Now we have all of our files here. We just need to copy paste everything over. So we have here our code, app.tsx. We're going to put that in here, app.tsx. We have constants. Let's grab our index HTML. Oh, that's right here. Index.tsx. Hey, some things that my Google Gemini created were an index.tsx files, a constants.tsx file, and it looks like it created a metadata.json, and then a calculator.ts file, and a types.ts file. Can you make sure those are incorporated into this folder? Oh man, we're telling Cursor, hey, we have all these things. We have all of these files generated from Google AI Studio Gemini. Can you make sure that these are in there as well so I can copy paste the code in there? All right, I don't know if they changed the app.tsx. Let's just copy paste that one more time. App.tsx, good, constant, great. Index HTML, index.tsx, metadata.json, that here. Calculator.ts. All right, I see I created a types.ts. I created two. I don't know which one I should use. Well, let's just leave them both and see. Then it tells me, okay, let's drag app.tsx constants index out of the types.ts, out of the src folder, and drop them into the root. If you say so. Let's just see. Okay, all right. And we're gonna do an npm run dev. We're gonna do that right here. npm run dev. Let's run it. Now what's going on here is we're just hosting it locally to make sure that it shows up and everything is good before we even try to deploy it onto the internet through a software or server like Netlify or even Vercel. So we want to make sure that we get everything right in here before moving on. Okay, so we see an error here. Nothing is showing up, and it could be because we were supposed to move all of these out. Move. It wanted us to move everything out. What else there? So src types.ts. Okay, now that we moved everything out of there. Okay, I moved everything out, and it did not like, Cursor did not like that. So I think it moved everything back in there, which is fine. It deleted that constant file, which I don't know why it did. It is right here. Aha, here we go, perfect. So let's copy paste this. Let's open an external browser just to make sure. Okay, perfect. Now that we have this all ready to go, everything looks great. It gave me a dist folder here. That's how you know. We're gonna go to Netlify, we're gonna add a new project. We're gonna deploy manually. We're gonna drag and drop this dist folder. All right, let's see, and boom. Now what we have to do is make this not. So the next step is that we have to go to we have to create a subdomain. So what we have to do is, and then we can add a domain that we own, but we gotta make sure that we go into, all right, so we gotta go into our Namecheap, our DNS settings. We got to add a new record. We got to go to CNAME. We can call it forecast. We're going to copy paste this 30-day fat list. Go to Namecheap, boom, HTTP forecast. Now we got to verify our DNS in Vercel. And there you have it. Now we should be forecast.revafitness.com. Boom, we connected everything. 30-day fat loss forecast. Now this is only half the battle, because once people input this stuff, what we actually need to do is we need to have something on the back end, because right now what we do is if we have anything, we don't have anything. So even if somebody submits something, we need to make sure we catch that submission. So let's just put height. I know what I am in CM, which is 178 and 20. Oh, what we need to do is set up a webhook. Production, post, copy paste this. What we're gonna do actually is put into Cursor hey, right now I have once someone submits their email, it's gonna fire off a webhook. Could you replace it with this webhook instead? Okay, so we're gonna go back in Cursor, make sure we turn this on. Technically we had a, very good. Okay, perfect. So according to this, we just made changes to our app. And what we have to do is now, we have to npm run build because this is going to update our dist folder in the top left here. Okay, now that our folder is updated, we actually have to go back here and we got to put that back. We got to re-upload that to make sure it updates our calculator online. Okay, now let's take the quiz, and what we should get is it's going to catch this in N8N. Say boom, lifting 3 days a week, protein medium to moderate. Ooh, late night snacking, can't eat protein. Okay. Your 7-day plan is inbound. Mindful eating is your secret weapon. This looks really good. Now, for the magic, for the moment of truth, we want to look at executions, and this should have ran. Wow, that is beautiful. Let's go. Let's see what information it gave us. Let's see. Yep, it gave us their email, all of their data. It gave us all of our necessary data that we need to give them a 7-day plan. Of course, I think what we could do is create more questions on the front end that could actually help them build out a plan. So we're gonna have to ask more questions here saying, hey, do you even have access to weights and all of this stuff? And then what we can do here, now that we have our email, we're gonna have AI give it a plan. We can add it to our CRM. We can add them to our mailing list, newsletter. We can actually send them the plan. This is delete, but create, send message. And now you get it. So everything N8N we can do on the back end, but now that we have all the data that we can work with here, everything from there should be super simple. Packaging is gonna be the most important thing anyway, right? None of this matters if they don't even take the quiz. So first we gotta make sure that we get them to take the quiz and we have the distribution necessary with our content, maybe ads, to make sure that they even do take the quiz. So that is going to be more important than this, but this is just how you can set it up on the back end as well. But here's how we could do it. Let's just say, let's go back here. Hi, based on the quiz that someone just took, this is the output that I got. Could you create me a 7-day Kickstarter plan and label it step by step, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, on how they can sustainably generate momentum in order to gain the consistency that they need? Because a big belief that I have is that you don't want to go 0 to 100 and then that's why you fall off. So how about we can give them small actionable steps that they can take each day, step by step. The variables that I'm going to give you are going to be dynamic. So their BMR, TDEE, daily deficit, projected loss range, recommended calories, maintenance calories, aggressiveness, biggest issue, all of these are going to be dynamic. So I want you to take in consideration these variables when you are creating your plan. I also want this to tee up my coaching on the back end. So make that a soft CTA at the very end of the plan email. All right, let's see what AI is going to give us. Sorry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an AI agent in N8N, so I want you to create a prompt that will be able to dynamically create this based on the input variables that I provide. Create a system prompt for me for that AI. All right, let's put this into our system prompt. Define system prompt. We're going to give them a weight lifting. Oh, we're gonna have to put age, height, weight, steps, days a week, they lift, cardio days a week, in hours, stress level, activity level, time to cook, daily min, confidence, they can handle protein targets, BMR. Let's review the system prompt one more time. Okay, let's execute. Now again, for the purposes of this video, you could get as granular as you would like. Of course, you could add this into your CRM. You could put this into your mailing list. There's a million different things you could do. You could score the lead. You could put a voice AI agent to call them right away if you put in their phone number. You could have it look up their socials. Bunch of different stuff you could do here just for the simplicity of this video and making sure that we fulfill our promise of delivering the lead magnet. Let's see what the plan came up with. All right, so we just sent the email, and if you look, I got it, my Kickstarter plan. Of course, the next step here would be to make sure that we format it well in the email so that it looks really good. But I just wanted to show you how you can fulfill on the lead magnet and the promise. And the bigger piece is making sure that we create a lead magnet that people actually want and can use and looks really good, more than just some PDF or ebook. And of course, there's much more that you can do on the back end here, adding it to your CRM, adding them to your newsletter, and maybe you want to give them a call, maybe you want to score them as a lead. There's a bunch of good stuff you can do on end to end on the back end here. The world is your oyster, and hope this was helpful. And let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.